Alexander Isak looks like he is set to join Liverpool for a British record fee of £125 million, but can Newcastle get a replacement before the transfer window closes at 7 o'clock this evening? They have agreed a deal to sign Johan Wissa for £55 million. Good morning and welcome to Fan Club. It's been an eventful deadline day with many big money deals being done. Our guest is Tim Sherwood, and Tim, the last hour was fairly busy in terms of breaking news. You enjoyed that?
Really good. It's one of the best windows I've seen for a long time. You know, sometimes you build it up and it's quite flat. I think there's more deals to be done as well today.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be busy, and that's how we like it. Big changes coming in goal for Manchester City. Is swapping Gianluigi Donnarumma for Ederson the right call by Pep Guardiola? On the other side of Manchester, some big names on their way out of United. We'll tell you which Premier League rival Jadon Sancho could be on his way to joining. Right, we want you to get involved in the debate this deadline day. This is how you do it. If you want to send us your voice notes or a message on WhatsApp, scan the QR code or use the WhatsApp number 07514917075. X, Instagram and Facebook, you can do that too, but use the hashtag SkySportsFC.
Morning, as well as all the usual Fan Club fan. I'm going to be keeping you across all the breaking transfer news as we count down to the 7 o'clock deadline. And we're going to get straight to the biggest story of the window, really. Alexander Isak's potential British record move to Liverpool. Our reporter, Vinny O'Connor, is at Liverpool's training ground for us today. Vinny, where are we at? Because this one's developing all the time.
Yeah, a bit of breaking news to bring you as well, because Alexander Isak is in the building. That means his medical is now underway at Liverpool. He has, of course, agreed to sign a 6-year contract with the club ahead of that £125 million move from Newcastle, which will be a British record transfer fee. Of course, the potential for him to make his debut after the international break when Liverpool face Burnley. Then it's Atletico Madrid in the Champions League, of course, before the Merseyside derby at Anfield. But that deal clearly going to get over the line. And we just wonder what that means for Harvey Elliott now, because we also understand that he's attracting interest from Aston Villa. No offer on the table for him from Villa so far. There is an offer from RB Leipzig, but at the moment, that is way short of Liverpool's valuation of the player. And their stance was that if Liverpool were able to get in an attacking option, then Harvey Elliott could well be allowed to leave. Then there's the Mark Gay situation as well, still some way away from an agreement with Crystal Palace, who want £35 million plus around £5 million in add-ons as well. And clearly, if Liverpool don't get Mark Gay in, then Joe Gomez won't be allowed to leave. There was the opportunity, perhaps, or potential for him to go the other way. Of course, he's also attracting interest from AC Milan. So plenty going on here at Liverpool. No deadline day donuts, I have to say, but we have been given blueberry pancakes. I'll just polish them off and let you get back to it. But plenty of breaking news here at Liverpool.
Enjoy those pancakes, Vinny. Well earned already, and it's barely 11 o'clock. Let's go from Liverpool to Newcastle and join Pete Graves. Pete, another transfer saga appears to be coming to an end. What can you tell us?
Well, I can tell you that Johan Wissa is here in Newcastle, completing his move to Newcastle United. It's after a £50 million deal was agreed with Brentford, depending on where you hear it, some add-ons included in that as well. But a huge signing for Newcastle United. He was one of the key targets for Eddie Howe from the very start of the summer. Before any talk of Isak's departure, Wissa was one that they had sort of highlighted to come in for the departing Callum Wilson. It's taken a long time, it's taken a lot of hard work, but it appears now as though they're about to get their man. So Wissa will join Nick Voltermader in strengthening the attacking options. Of course, they'd already brought in Anthony Elanga, the winger. They brought in a new centre midfielder in Ramsey, as well as centre-back in Shaw, and a goalkeeper in Aaron Ramsdale. Spoke to some former players today who've said that this is one of the greatest transfer windows Newcastle United have had, despite, of course, the outgoing Alexander Isak. So Wissa is here on Tyneside, completing his move. We've seen the club photographer and all the media team arrive in the last few moments and expect this medical to be done and then the deal to be announced at some point today.
Pete, thank you very much indeed. We've already been to Liverpool once in the last few minutes. We have got some more breaking news, though, from the reigning Premier League champions. Rob Dorset is here to tell us all about it.
Hannah, this is a fascinating one, and it's all connected with what we've just been talking about with Mark Gay. I'm told that Liverpool have received an offer from AC Milan for Joe Gomez. I can tell you that exclusively. I found out in the last few minutes, and it would have been a substantive move to Serie A. Not a loan deal for Joe Gomez, but it now looks unlikely that that deal can be completed in time for tonight's 7 o'clock deadline. Liverpool will categorically not allow Gomez to go unless they've got a replacement in. We know that they want Mark Gay, so in effect, they will only sanction a move for Joe Gomez to go to Serie A if they get Mark Gay in through the door. And that deal is still very much live. It's not dead in any way, but it might go later into the window tonight. And so I think everybody's taken a pragmatic view here and said, look, I don't think we can get Joe Gomez done after we've done Mark Gay. And so in effect, Joe Gomez hasn't been allowed to fly to Milan to have a medical, even though he was poised to do so. I've been told that the representatives of Gomez were talking with Milan's owners late last night. There's a little irony here because Milan's owners, Redbird Capital, also have a stake in Fenway Sports, who own Liverpool. So it was a bit of an inside deal, if you like, in that sense. And whilst I've been told that they were close to thrashing out terms and agreeing a deal, Liverpool then pretty much pulled the plug and said, we're not allowing Joe Gomez to go unless we get somebody in. And actually, on a slot, it's very key to have both Mark Gay and Joe Gomez in his ranks. He came off the bench, didn't he, against Arsenal yesterday. So AC Milan interested, close to a deal, I was told, for Joe Gomez, but Liverpool have pulled the plug and said we don't think that can happen in time.
Wow, so many pieces in play in Liverpool. We'll keep you up to date with all the developments there. Thank you, Rob.
Yeah, we'll just confirm some news we were bringing you earlier. There were reports that Bayer Leverkusen had sacked this former Manchester United manager Erik ten Hag. That has now been confirmed by the German club. He's left after just 2 matches in charge in Bundesliga. There was 1 draw, 1 defeat, and Ten Hag has gone. Right, OK, Rob Dorset there. We're talking about the future of Mark Gahey and his future. It's a big issue to be resolved on deadline day. Let's discuss what's going on at Crystal Palace and speak to another representative of Finalysis, an app where passionate fans share their opinions. We're joined by Palace fan Joe Windsor. Joe, good morning to you. Welcome to deadline day. When it comes to Mark Gahey, how important is it, from a fan point of view, to keep him?
I mean, it's so important, isn't it? I mean, at this late stage of the window, for me, and I think the majority of the fan base, he has to stay. I think if it came through a few months ago and we had time to get in an adequate replacement, then we would have sold because, we all know he's going to go on a free next year, most likely to Liverpool, which is where he wants to go. But we're literally, 7-8 hours away from the window shutting. He played last night. He's a constant professional, isn't he? I mean, he was brilliant last night. He's so good for us and has been for 4 years. He's our captain. He took us to our, first ever major trophy in the FA Cup. He's probably the most important player at the club at the moment. So for me, he has to stay.
Tim Sherwood earlier was talking about how the finances, if you are the owner of the club, you have to take that into account. And with 1 year left in his deal, I mean, Tim, if you just make your point to Joe about that, because that's an important thing to take into consideration as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we've learnt this lesson with Wilfried Zaha before. We lost him on a free. But I think if you ask a lot of Palace fans, do they really care about that now after what he did for us? Absolutely not. I think from a fan perspective, we just want to see our best players at the football club. I do understand that Steve Parish has a very big decision to make in the next 7 hours. We've got Oliver Glasner, who's been very, very public with, saying that Mark Gahey has to stay. We've not got an adequate replacement in. So we run the risk of unsettling our best ever manager. So I just think for 35, 40 million, I think it's worth it at this point.
Mm-hmm. How worried are you that Glasner actually might say, no, if he goes, I go too? How worried are you about that?
Yeah, I'm slightly worried. I mean, he hasn't signed an extension. He's due to leave next summer anyway. Again, it's been very public that he won't sign that contract. And if Mark Gahey does go, I don't think he'll be any closer to signing that. So I understand that we might lose him next year as well. But we've got this season in Europe, which was confirmed last week. I just think with Mark in the centre of our defence as captain, we've got an absolutely brilliant chance at going on to win it, and that's worth more than 35 to 40 million for me. But I understand that Steve Parish may say otherwise.
Joe, what about if you get Joe Gomez as a replacement in a swap deal?
I mean, yeah, I do quite like Joe Gomez, but I just don't think we can underestimate the importance of Mark Gahey and how good he is. I mean, obviously we saw him last night scoring that worldie, but it's what he offers in defence. He's so calm on the ball. He's so composed. He can kind of break the lines and go forward and help out in the attack as well. And I just think it's too late. But I understand that Liverpool, I doubt, would do that deal with us anyway. If they did and we got some money as well as Joe Gomez, then perhaps that would kind of help out with the situation, but as I say, for me, I just think it's too late and he has to stay.
I think you're in real danger of losing your manager. You're absolutely right. I think if he's come out so strong yesterday evening, saying about he needs him to stay. Mark Gahey is everything to the club. He's the captain. He needs him. Unless we get a replacement, that could possibly be Joe Gomez. They would tick that box. With Ten Hag losing his job at Bayer Leverkusen, that is an obvious choice, Oliver Glasner, to go there. So it makes it even more precarious for you fans at the moment, I would suggest.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the fan base would be incredibly upset if Mark Gahey was to go, not only to lose him, but we know what that's going to do to Glasner. And as I say, he is the biggest piece to Crystal Palace's puzzle. You know, we've lost Eze, we could lose Mark Gahey as well, but keeping Oliver Glasner, I mean, look what he's doing. We've got a paper-thin squad. We are undefeated in 14 games. We're sitting in 8th place. We're going on a European tour. We've won the FA Cup. I just think this man needs anything he wants, really. And now's the time for Steve Parish to really back him and really back this manager. But yeah, we know that he's going on a free next year. So I do get the dilemma that he's going to have today. But I think a lot of Palace fans are really, really hoping that we stay firm and he stays.
Have you absolutely, completely given up on Mark Gahey signing a new contract?
It looks that way, doesn't it? I think we would all hope that he would maybe sign a one-year extension with a release clause. But let's be honest, we know he wants to go to Liverpool. He won't sign a new contract. But let's not forget we're seeing from all these players this transfer window, how they've gone about their business, you know, refusing to train, refusing to play, all these rumours, and he puts in a performance like last night. So I don't think his, passion for the club is under question. We know he's going to go on to bigger and better things, and he wants that to be Liverpool. With the World Cup year next year, he'll play every week at Palace. I think he's very happy to stay, and if we're happy to let him go on a free, then that's what will happen.
Joe, I hope for your sake that he stays, and same with Oliver Glasner. Thanks for coming on.
No problem. Thanks very much.
OK, we've got stories developing and news breaking all over the place this morning. Let's head to Aston Villa now. We've already heard that they've agreed a loan for Jadon Sancho, but there is more emerging. Rob Jones is at Villa Park for us. Rob.
Morning, Hannah. Yeah, Villa tracking 2 players, 2 attackers with Premier League experience. We'll get to the one that is, as you said, a little bit more advanced, Jadon Sancho, in just a moment. But also there is interest in Liverpool's Harvey Elliott as well. There have been some informal conversations that have taken place between the 2 clubs. There's been no official bid from Aston Villa for Harvey Elliott as yet. And understand that all things are on the table, whether that be a loan or a permanent move for Elliott. But given conversations I've had in recent weeks about Aston Villa's finances, you would expect that possibly a loan is a little bit more likely of the 2 options for a player whose opportunities have been limited under Arne Slot. It has to be said, he started just 2 Premier League games for Liverpool last season, just 6 in all competitions, and you would think his opportunities to play in Liverpool's attack will only reduce further if and when they get that Alexander Isak deal over the line a little bit later on today from Newcastle. So Elliott, one player of interest to Villa. The other one, which is, as I said, far more advanced, is Jadon Sancho, with a deal agreed between Villa and Manchester United. Excuse me, for Villa to pay them a loan fee, to pay 80% of Jadon Sancho's wages, and also for some bonuses in that deal as well, which might just top up that 80% a little further and a little bit closer towards 100%. Had a conversation with someone this morning who's fairly close to Unai Emery, who said that his frustration has been growing in recent days, that Villa haven't been able to get any real business done in the last week or so. Evan Gesson, the only major signing for Villa this summer. There's been so much speculation about Emi Martinez heading out of the club today as well. But 2 attackers on their radar, Jadon Sancho of Manchester United, one, and Harvey Elliott of Liverpool, the other.
Rob, thank you very much. Let's now head straight to Stamford Bridge. Breaking news involving Nicholas Jackson. Gail Davis can bring us up to date. Gail.
Yeah, very good morning, Hannah. What a crazy few hours it has been in the life of Nicholas Jackson. Off he went, didn't he, to Bayern Munich for his medical. The injury to Liam Delap meant that was paused. There was talk of a permanent move last night. Then Bayern Munich said the deal was off. Well, we understand that the deal could still be on. Jackson and his representatives remain in Munich. Remember, Chelsea got a couple of days off because it's international week, and he will join up with the Senegal side, but talks are understood to be ongoing between all parties over resurrecting the deal. Jackson has his heart set on a move, and he has his heart set on a move because he hasn't been part of Chelsea's plans so far this season. Suspended for the first game, not included Enzo Maresco's squad for the next two. Remember, they do have João Pedro. The Liam Delap thing caused a bit of a headache for Chelsea. He could be out between 6 and 8 weeks with a hamstring problem, and having been left short in January when he was injured and Mark Guehi was also injured, Chelsea wanted to make sure they were well stocked. But last night, when news came that Mark Guehi's loan agreement to Sunderland had been cancelled and he was back here, it left a slight door ajar that Jackson may still be able to move, because Maresca talked about having 2 fit strikers after the game against Fulham, and after they recall Guehi, you have 3 fit strikers if Jackson was to stay. So there is a possibility he could still get his move away, with Mark Guehi, of course, coming back from Sunderland from that loan deal. João Pedro is fit, raring to go, and Liam Delap, well, between 6 and 8 weeks, we might find out a little bit more over the next few days regarding his fitness. Jackson might find out in the next few hours where he's going to be playing football this season.
What an absolute roller coaster. That's why we love it, Gail. Thank you very much. And Manchester City are closing in on one of the best goalkeepers in the world. Sani Rajavangela has got the latest developments on that one for us. Sani.
Yeah, Gianluigi Donnarumma, one of the best goalkeepers in the world, as you say, winner of the Champions League last season, so pivotal for PSG, deemed surplus to requirements there, and we now know that Manchester City are edging closer to a deal. One's been agreed in, framework's been agreed there in principle, so there's still some things to be ironed out before the Italian, who's only 26 years old, could be joining Manchester City. All that as well would then lead questions over what would happen with Ederson into his 9th season now, the first where he's not the number one. We understand that potentially he could be going to Fenerbahce, but that all hangs on whether Donnarumma comes in at City. And of course that adds even more questions. What does this mean for James Trafford, who rejoined in the summer and has started the season for City? A mixed start for him with Donnarumma coming in. I mean, how would he react to that? But still some work to be done there. Donnarumma, we've seen what he can do. We've seen what he's done winning the Euros, and since then with PSG, brilliant there. It looks like he is out the door there and could be arriving in Manchester today. Still work to be done though.
It's deadline day and a big one for Newcastle United. It's going to be Isak out, Wissa in. We're going to get a fan perspective next. I've talked a lot about Newcastle's transfer business. We will get to that in a moment, but there has been a lot of breaking news in the last few minutes, really. I mean, Nicholas Jackson's move away from Chelsea looks like it might be back on, and there's also the potential of Aston Villa trying to get Harvey Elliott from Liverpool. And as a former Aston Villa manager yourself, Tim, what do you think of that, the prospect of Harvey Elliott coming in, and actually just the way Aston Villa are right now on deadline day?
Looks like Jadon Sancho as well, possibly looking from wide areas. Lost Bailey, didn't they, and Ramsey. I was disappointed with them last night, I really was. Even though they haven't had a good window, looks like, you know, all the excitement last year of playing in the Champions League, big occasions, the crowd are up. Very negative last night, you know, and Unai Emery looks a bit prickly in his couple of interviews, one last week and one before the game yesterday regarding Emi Martinez. I think they need a feel-good factor. They need something. It needs something to lift that dressing room. And I think Sancho on loan, like Rashford was last year, I think maybe be able to give him. He's got loads of talent, this boy. And Unai Emery is a top-drawer manager. But at the moment, he looks like he's half sulking a little bit, you know. It's up to him to get the best out of the group, what he's got. I know that it hasn't gone well in the transfer market for him. There's obviously no money there. They're up to their limit on the headroom. Asensio looks like he's not going to come back there. He's going to go to Fenerbahce. So Harvey Elliott will be a very good signing as well. We know what a talent that boy is. And good thing about Harvey Elliott, what I like about him, he's not just satisfied to be around that Liverpool squad and not play. He wants to get out there and he wants to play games. And let me tell you,
there's a World Cup
if he's
coming
going to
up.
leave, he's got a chance. If he's going to leave Liverpool, he's going to a massive club in Aston Villa. I think it'd be a great platform for him. So hopefully they get some transfers over the line and cheer the manager up, because he looks like he needs it.
Well, what about Nicholas Jackson then? It looked like he was on his way to Bayern Munich, and then it was kind of blocked a little bit late on due to an injury to Liam Delap. It looks like it is back on again now, so Bayern Munich still trying to get him. Can you see why Chelsea would let him go?
Yeah, the manager's made his mind up that he's not going to be for him. So rather than dwell on it and keep a player there you're not going to use, it's a lot of money what Bayern Munich are talking about. I think he's a hit and miss striker. I really do. I think on his day he can. Well, even on his day. It's not one game to the next. It's one moment to the next with Nicholas Jackson. But I think he's got a lot of attributes. A huge club he was joining there in Bayern Munich. He would not have been able to catch his breath when he heard the news that Delap had been injured and they were calling him back. If I was him, I would have strapped myself to the Allianz and said, I'm not leaving.
Well, it looks like he's still going to get his way without taking that dramatic measure. And just a one, I know it's not a transfer deal, but Erik ten Hag by Leverkusen, just 2 games and 2 months he's been officially in the role.
I don't know why they waited so long.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, well, in the last week, what have we lost? Ole Gunnar Solskjaer,
Jose
Mourinho and Ten Hag all got one thing in common. They all managed Man United. If I'm Ruben Amorim, I am turning my phone off now.
We've actually got a little surprise for you here, Tim. Something a bit special on the day that European Ryder Cup captain Luke Donald announces his picks. Should he be looking in the direction of Tim Sherwood? He's been taking part in our very own competition. Let's cross to our reporter, Johnny McCann.
Yes, very busy day in Sky Sports News with transfer deadline day. Deals still going in as we speak, but it's also a big day in the world of golf as European Ryder Cup captain Luke Donald announces his captain's picks this afternoon. Something you can see live on Sky Sports. And to mark that occasion, we thought we'd have a bit of fun with that there with our pundits and set them their own wee Ryder Cup challenge. We're calling it the Skyder Cup Challenge, and we're getting our pundits to try and recreate that moment there. Justin Rose's putt in Rome and those celebrations. And here's a reminder of that putt. Yeah, what a moment that was, and what celebrations it was too. First up to try and reenact that putt is Tim Sherwood. Tim, you know Rosie quite well, don't you?
I do, yeah, I do know Rosie. He's a good lad, and obviously when the big pressure moments come, there's no one better to count on than that man.
Right, here we go. There's a pressure moment coming for you now, Tim. Can you do it? Well, this is the putt. Yeah, I'll have a look.
I think really important, if you're going to emulate that, you're going to have to tuck that shirt.
Yep, that's it. Yep, full commitment to it. Let's see.
Like Rosie does, and keeps this right arm in contact. I think it's a right to left, pretty similar to the putt he had, but a little bit less pressure here. but you're going to have to make sure you hit this because it's so slow.
It's got a chance.
It's done!
Turn around. Happy days, first foot.
That works down here.
Oh, Tim, well done. No magic of TV there. That actually was first go. I've done my research. It was first go, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it was a 10-foot right to left. I mean, how am I missing that? I mean, normally my pals give me them.
Well, I have never played a round of golf in my life, Tim, but still, I still know that was very impressive indeed. Are you a big Ryder Cup fan? Looking forward to it?
Brilliant. Nothing better, is there, than watching the Ryder Cup. Never miss a shot and wish them well.
Fantastic sporting event. Right, we did promise to get some Newcastle fan reaction to all of their news today. It looks like they're going to get £125 million on deadline day, but immediately give £55 million to Brentford for Johan Wissa. Let's speak to one of our fanlists now in Matthew Eltringham. Right, Matthew, so Isak's out, British record fee. Nick Voltemada's coming in, so is Johan Wissa for a combined total of about the same as you're going to get for Alexander Isak. How happy are you with that deal on the whole? 2 in for the price of the one that you're selling.
Yeah, I think reasonably happy. I think when the news broke about Isak, I was alarmed at first because it was all about what Newcastle were going to do, because it's all well and good signing on deadline day, but if we didn't bring another striker in, I didn't want Voltemada to be the man playing Wednesday, Saturday every week like Isak did when we were last in the Champions League, and he still hasn't got that experience. He needs to learn the league, he needs to learn his team. So the fact that the domino effect seems to have happened here with Johan Wissa, a man who has acted in the same way with his statements and his refusal to train and all that stuff. Newcastle leaving this window with a player out who doesn't want to be here, and I think a lot of Newcastle fans have lost that emotional attachment to him anyway, because we've known that Isak hasn't wanted to be here the whole summer. The fact we are leaving it with a Premier League proven goal scorer and a very, very hot prospect in Voltemada with money left in the bank, which hopefully might help us with the dreaded PSR in future summers. Put that on top of the other players we brought in. Yeah, I'm relatively happy. It was all about whether we were bringing someone else in today, and it looks like that's happening.
I've asked you this a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to ask you again because now the deals are both so close. You weren't very happy with the way Alexander Isak conducted himself. Johan Wissa, very similar in the way he conducted himself. So why do you want one when he acted in the same way as the one that you're not happy with?
It's not so much the factor of me being happy with how he's behaved. I was speaking yesterday about his statement to my friends. His very long statement where, he might have mentioned the fans more to Brentford, but what I didn't like is how he said if he stayed at Brentford, that would tarnish everything he's done, essentially saying, well, I'm not going to score goals for you anymore if I don't get this move. Nobody likes this. I think I said when I was on Friday with Jamie that the Premier League, UEFA need to look into what has happened this summer, because it seems to be a massive shift and it's setting a precedent for other footballers that this is okay in how you behave. But I'm also real enough to know that we are getting one player in who wants to play for Newcastle, and during all of this, the exact Wissa, how they've acted, one footballer didn't want to play for us, and that's the one going out the door. So I'm not a Brentford fan, so to an element of me is going to be real enough to not cry too much about what he's done. But do I agree with how either of them have acted? Definitely not. Definitely not.
Matthew, your club will always be bigger than any single player. You need to trust your manager. I certainly trust your manager. Do the fans really trust Eddie Howe?
100%. I mean, again, so many won't claim that they knew much about Voltemada. I won't claim that I watch much Bundesliga. Obviously, I've done my research, as a lot of us have. And his transfer record for Newcastle's been almost impeccable. So when we do bring in a player that for some might be a bit of an unknown, the trust is there. And I do believe that Newcastle have tried everything to get Alexander Isak back on board. I mean, we heard the stories that his house was visited by some Mr. Rumian and crew after the Liverpool match. That hasn't worked. He's dug his heels in. Eddie Howe's obviously going to be very disappointed to lose one of our best footballers in him. But you have to move on. There's no one bigger than the football club, and the recruitment we've made this summer, Eddie Howe is not a panic buyer. I'm glad that we are bringing in a player today that Newcastle have clearly been after all summer. That fills me with a bit more optimism that we're not just panic buying someone out of the blue because the Isak deals had to be done. So yeah, full trust. We're stronger than we were at the start of the window across the full squad. I think everyone would agree with that, with the players we needed to bring in. And yeah, the strikers have been replaced.
Hey, Matthew, if you just stay where you are, we've been asking the viewers for some voice notes. We've got some Newcastle fans who've taken the time to send them in. So we'll play a couple out now. Get the thoughts of John, who sent us this.
Liverpool are getting a great player, but not necessarily a great person. At the end of the day, Newcastle have doubled their money on Alexander Isak, albeit I think they have overspent by getting Johan Wissa in. But at the end of the day, a great transfer window for Newcastle, if you look at the signs that they're getting in.
Yeah, that does seem to be the general feeling around it. We have actually got another one as well, which will play out as well. Isak, we know he's not overly popular with Newcastle fans. This is another voice note from a Newcastle fan called Andy.
125 million or 130 million, depending on what you read, is a very good fee for a player who down tools after March, after winning the Carabao Cup final. A player who is regularly in the treatment room, and signing the youngest prospect in Europe in Nico Baltamada, and also signing Johan Wissa, who scored more non-penalty goals than Alexander Isak last season, by the way, is fantastic business for Newcastle United.
Right, OK, so very quickly, just to end, Matthew, ultimately, are you more than satisfied with how this window's going to end?
Yeah, I think more than satisfied. I agree with the voice notes there. I think we are overpaying to a degree for Wissa, but it's more important that we have a striker in, 130 million for Isak's all well and good, but it doesn't put the ball in the back of the net in a 4 competition season. So yes, we are overpaying, but maybe Premier League proven goals is worth that little bit of extra money in the short term, maybe not the long term. But very, very happy, and we've finally got this saga over with, which I think this football club has been desperate for so long now.
Yeah, you certainly have. Right, Matthew, thank you.
Thanks, guys.
On the subject of Alexander Isak, we've actually just caught up with the Sweden manager, who's also a former Newcastle striker, in John Dahl Tomasson. We'll bring you that interview next.
Welcome back. Let's get some more on Alexander Isak's £125 million move to Liverpool. His head coach for Sweden, Jon Dahl Tomasson, has just been speaking to the media ahead of the upcoming international break. Isak has been called up for his national team despite not playing yet this season.
Every person in the whole world has read all the headlines the last weeks and even today, which of course I also have done, but nothing is confirmed yet.
Have you talked to Alexander?
I spoke with Alex yesterday. I spoke with him this morning as well.
When will he join the national team?
We expect him during the day.
Simon, varsågod.
Yeah, obviously a special weekend for Alex. How do you make sure that his head is in the right place?
I thought you were asking to my head.
Yeah, we know about that.
No. Alex is extremely professional and he has a great mentality. He's very stable and in control. So we are not afraid of that. Definitely not.
Hello, Coach. Obviously, another one about Alex. You say you've spoken to him a couple of times the last 24, 48 hours. Obviously, he's been the centre of worldwide attention. You spoke about his character. How is he? How has he coped with it? And I wonder, did he need to get permission to arrive late, or was that always the plan?
No, first of all, he's a great lad. I spoke about his character a lot of times. He's very professional. I think the most important thing for us here in Sverige is that he wants this team. He wants it badly. He wants to perform well, so we qualify for the World Cup. And he's in a good mental place. So regarding what we spoke about, stays of course with me and Alex. I think that's normal, isn't it?
But he didn't need to get extra permission from you to maybe be a bit later arriving with the national team.
I think more or less all over Europe. The Monday is a strange day. We have Ken Sema, who's traveling from Cyprus. He was out of his bed 4 o'clock this night. Delayed from Cyprus 1.5 hours, so he missed his connecting flight. And he called the coach, I'm very sorry, I will be late. No problem, Ken, take your time. He will probably first be here 3, 4 o'clock. So I think Ken needs a rest. And he's not the only one who has a program like that. They're not flying private yet, huh?
OK, now to Manchester United. Will they get the goalkeeper thereafter? Daniel Kahn is there for us this morning. Dan, what do you know?
Well, the question is, Hannah, which goalkeeper could it be? Seems that Manchester United could go either direction if they are to add a goalkeeper on deadline day. And one is Emilio Martinez. Manchester United are in talks over a potential move for him, the Aston Villa goalkeeper, the World Cup winning goalkeeper. Then the other option is the young 23-year-old Saint-Lemond's Royal Antwerp goalkeeper, who only has really one season of being a number one. Behind him, a starting goalkeeper. Two very different goalkeepers, two goalkeepers at different ends of their career. Which direction, if any, will Manchester United go? They could end up deadline day without any goalkeepers and go into this season with Andre Onana, Altay Bayindir and Tom Heaton. But we'll yet to find out if United are going to sanction a move for either one. But as soon as they do, I will let you know.
Daniel, thank you very much.
Well, let's talk Manchester United. We can speak to another representative of Finalysis, an app where passionate fans share their opinions. We're joined live by Manchester United fan Adam Stott. Right, Adam, let's talk about the goalkeeping situation first of all. Emi Martinez, would that be your number one choice?
100% Emi Martinez. I think Manchester United need that experienced goalkeeper right now. You think of the situation that Ruben Amorim is in. He needs Premier League proven players. I think a lot of the Manchester United fan base are looking at maybe Sen Lammens as another unproven player, a goalkeeper that, like your reporter Dan has just said there, hasn't got much experience as a number one at the highest level. So I think if you ask most Manchester United fans right now, characters, leaders, experience, people who can dig us out of situations, and that's what Emiliano Martinez brings Manchester United right now. I can fully understand why Ruben Amorim would want a player like that in his side. It's been a big push throughout the window, as you've seen, Tom, with Manchester United for Cunha and Bumo, experienced players, the unknown factor. We're selling that off. We've tried this over the last 5 years with players at the football club, and nearly everyone who's been brought in the last 3 years, for instance, it shows you how bad our recruitment has been, is now wanting out of the door. Now we're wanting them to go, and they are all pretty much going right now. And I don't think anybody is confident in Bainde or Andre Onana. I do believe that Martinez is number one choice for United. I hope, me personally, that we do bring him in. I think he just brings so much more than just a goalkeeper who saves shots to this team right now. I think he is and has to be the keeper we go for.
I couldn't agree more. I think what a signing. This would be, in my opinion, Man United's best signing of the summer. I know they're signing Burmo and Cunha, but this is the boy. I mean, we're talking about a presence here. We're talking about a World Cup winner. We're talking about someone who will calm a shaky defence where he's got there. I don't think he's ever played behind a back three before, so he might have to learn the intricate. But I think your manager needs to learn that a little bit more. Do you know what I mean? Because at the moment, I don't know what formation you're playing. There's so much wrong at Man United. What is happening with your striker? You pay £73 million for him. How on earth can Šeško not start a game yet?
Well, that's on Ruben Amorim. I think what we're all looking at as a fan base right now is how I look at it. There's been a lot of excuses for Manchester United, off the field problems, unrest within certain players. I think all Manchester United fans want now is to be able to judge a manager properly. Every single manager that's been in recently, and we've seen that Ten Hag has just been sacked by Leverkusen right now as well. There's always been issues behind the scenes, and he's always been used as an excuse as to why we can't get things right on the pitch. Well, now he's been backed. Now he's been given a top striker. Now, hopefully, we get this top goalkeeper. We've got players around him with experience like Cunha and Mbeumo. Yeah, we wanted another midfielder, but I think this Martinez coming in, like you said there, Tim, I think now is judgment day for Ruben Amorim, and this season I think he will be judged properly just on football facts. But the striker one, your guess is as good as mine. I think there were a few fans scratching their heads in the stadium why Šeško didn't start at weekend as well.
I think it's the confidence what he gives the boy. I mean, he must be so low in confidence now. You know, he's not been given the opportunity. He's listened to all the noise about taking the 10th penalty at Grimsby when they get knocked out there. I mean, he must be shell-shocked. He's only a young kid. He's still developing. He's coming to a new country. Put your arm around him, show him some love, give him the start in the game. At home to a newly promoted side, that was the opportunity for him to score a couple of goals.
Is that similar as well to both of you with Kobbie Mainoo here, who isn't playing? I know he's been there a lot longer, but in terms of outgoings, you've got rid of a few players that you want. It looks like Sancho and Anthony will go today, maybe Malacia as well. Yeah. But what are your thoughts on Kobbie Mainoo, who appears to be loved by the fans and England fans as well?
Well, with Kobbie, it came as a shock to everybody. A shock that it came so late in the window. Obviously, we know we've been looking for a midfielder, even with Kobbie Mainoo in the squad still. So if Kobbie left, we would be in real trouble. But again, I just think Ruben Amorim, I think there's a lot of fans that are in agreement that he's handled the youth academy players a lot better. Obviously, he's not giving them game time ahead of time as such. It's like Kobbie Mainoo hasn't really, along with the rest of the team, done much last season. I think a lot of people forget that Kobbie had a poor season last season as well, and I think Ruben's stance on this has been, you still have to fight for your place in the side. Some will argue Casemiro is ageing. Some will argue Bruno Fernandes isn't fit to play at number 8. It's not his preferred position. But I think with Kobbie Mainoo now, it looks like it's been sorted and he's staying at the club. I think the club has stood firm with that. Maybe with the injuries to Mount and Cunha, it kind of falls into Ruben's hands a bit. And Bruno's back at 10. Mainoo plays at 8 again. And we might see something come of this situation.
Yeah, I hope for your sake that Kobbie Mainoo does stay. Fantastic player. Right, Adam, thank you.
Good luck, mate.
Thank you very much, guys.
Right, on the way next, we're hearing some interesting news coming out of Crystal Palace. We'll find out more.
This is Fan Club on deadline day, and we've got more breaking news for you. Nottingham Forest are close to completing a deal for Strasbourg winger Dylan Bakwa, who's been a long-term target at the City ground. Now, the fee being discussed is worth over £34.7 million, and Sky Sports News has been told that Forest are confident of getting the transfer over the line before the 7 o'clock deadline. Elsewhere, Brighton's Matt O'Reilly has arrived in France this morning for a medical with Marseille. The midfielder is set to join them on a straight loan with no option to buy. Right, as promised before the break, let's get to Crystal Palace, shall we? Because developments are coming out of the club this morning. Let's speak to our reporter, James Savundra, who's at Selhurst Park. James, what's all the very latest?
Hi there, Hannah. Well, some good news to bring you first up, Crystal Palace fans, because it looks like you are going to make a number of signings today. One of those players having a medical right now is Christantos Uche from Getafe, the highly rated forward. It looks like Crystal Palace have beaten off competition from other Premier League clubs, including Sunderland and Aston Villa, to sign him. We understand there's an agreement in place around £17.3 million. He's undergoing a medical right now, Crystal Palace fans. At the same time, he looks to be signing. I understand in the last few minutes, the future of Marc Guéhi does remain in the balance. A source has told me in the last 20 minutes or so, it's 50-50 whether or not he remains a Crystal Palace player or goes to Liverpool. Those deals to sign Igor Julio and JD Camvo are both not related to Marc Guéhi. So we wait to see what happens there. There is not long to go. Will Marc Guéhi remain a Crystal Palace player or not come deadline?
That is the big question, James. Thank you.
Right, we might have time for a little bit of chat of that in a moment, but we've already seen our studio guest Tim Sherwood nail the Skyder Cup challenge on the day Luke Donald makes his captain's picks. Could our Sky Sports FC colleague Charlie Austin do the same? He's with Johnny McCann.
Next up to try and recreate it, we've got Charlie Austin. Charlie, feeling confident?
I'm going to have a go. I've now changed to the claw grip, so hopefully that can help me now and see if I can hold this putt.
Let's see, Charlie. No pressure. Let's go.
I would like to bend down and read the putt, but I don't think the trousers or my right knee would allow me, so I'm just going to go for it.
Tell you what. I tell you what. Oh! Well, you know the legs.
No,
Here we go.
There.
Come on. No, not this one. Right,
Oh!
come on, Charlie. Come on.
Come on, last one. So it's got a chance.
Oh, it's got a chance. Yes, Charlie boy.
Thank you very much. See, the first one was close. The second one, just not very good. Third one, straight in there. Delighted. Luke Donald, you know where I am.
Yes, you do. And you'll see Luke Donald on our set this afternoon. And here, you never know, Charlie. Make it one. Unbelievable.
Ah, well done, eh? Third attempt. Just for anyone just tuning in, Tim, who got it first time?
Well, if only you could have 3 attempts. I think we will win the Ryder Cup if all of our team are allowed 3 attempts every time they have a putt. There's a good chance.
You did it first time. Right, very quickly, we're running out of time. At Marc Guéhi there, we've just learned it's 50-50. That's very different to what was said yesterday. What do you think that means?
Absolutely. Glasner last night was very strong. I think Steve Parish has said to him, listen, mate, the towel cannot wag the dog. I'm the governor here. I need to take the money, and it's up to Marc Guéhi. If he wants to leave the football club now, he will 100% be leaving for Liverpool Football Club. It's up to Marc Guéhi. I don't think it's up to Oliver Glasner.
OK, well, that is one to watch, because on the way next, it is transfer talk. There is loads happening. It's one of the busiest transfer deadline days yet. And the top story is about that man there, Alexander Isak.